Hello, hello. Mic testing 1, 2, 3. Mic testing 1, 2, 3. Mic testing 1, 2, 3.
Kamal. Testing. Morning, Francis. How you doing, brother?
I'm fine, fine, thank you.
Good morning, Professor. How are you keeping?
Go be waiting for your, how to say, your wife.
Yes, on the 26th.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, all
Good,
good.
good, good. Looking forward to a good day for you, huh?
Yeah. All good, all good. How's things in things in Penang?
In Penang. Okay, we are open up. Welcome all of you to visit Penang.
Yeah,
Must be the
definitely.
ambassador of Penang now.
Uh,
He's allowed to travel now.
yeah, where's the other dude?
What's that?
Where's your other buddy?
The other, oh, the Luis.
Luis.
Luis, don't know yet, don't know whether he's coming or not. Luis in KL, I think.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's in KL.
Probably I'll catch up with him. That's
Good,
nice.
good, good. Looking forward for your 26, huh?
Yeah, let's see. It's a lot of
Good.
hard work.
Good. Hard work day off, huh?
Good morning.
Good morning, Diego.
Morning. Nice to see familiar faces again. Yeah.
Diego, we changed Diego, but you're still there, Diego. That's only difference.
Yeah.
We keep changing, but you're still there.
I think one of these waves of change might take me too. Who knows?
That's nice.
How are you, Francis?
Good morning, Dr. Havinder. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Lal.
Yeah. And Mr. Saburuddin is going to present his pilot survey results. I am waiting for it to see his face. Mr.
Sorry, say that again.
Saburuddin is going to present his pilot survey results.
Okay. Oh, that's excellent. Very good. Hi, good morning, Mr. Saburuddin. How's the lockdown in Colombo? Can you all go around? Your mic is muted, Mr. Saburuddin. We can't hear you. Your mic is muted.
Yes.
Then Ishant is also there.
Yes. Hi. Good morning, Dr. Havinder.
Yeah, how are you today?
All good. So you are asking about Colombo now. Colombo lockdown is now.
MUST was established in collaboration with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, otherwise known as MIT. We also inherited MIT's world-class system and culture.
Our mission today is to provide students and working adults cutting-edge education and skills that are current and relevant to industry needs and ensures 100% employability.
In fact, QS World University
MUST was established in collaboration with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, otherwise known as MIT. We also inherited MIT's world-class system and culture.
Our mission today is to provide students and working adults cutting-edge education and skills that are current and relevant to industry needs and ensures 100% employability.
In fact, QS World University rating granted us 5 stars for teaching and learning because of our world-class faculty, 5 stars for employability of our students, and #1 in Asia for international students.
One of MUST's keys to success is our ongoing collaborations with our industry partners to make sure that our curriculum meets the industry standards present and future. We enable our students to have future internships and employment opportunities. We work with other universities from all around the world to ensure that our students have the best academic experiences.
We specialize in 3 areas: transport and logistics, business management, and information technology.
Our Transport and Logistics School is the front runner in Malaysia with faculty members who have rail industry experience. We are also the founding member of Asia Logistics and Supply Chain Council with prominent industry players sharing their best practices. That's why our students are offered employment even before they graduate.
In this day and age where the pace of digitalization is accelerating, we are continually developing innovative IT programs to meet the needs of industry and the IT world. As a mark of international recognition, the International Telecommunication Union has designated MUST a centre of expertise in the Internet of Things and IP version 6. In addition, MUST is a founding member of the Smart Industry Association Malaysia and has formed partnerships with multinational manufacturers such as Bosch and Daikin.
The business management faculty at MUST is led by industry experts, and this has allowed us to get membership with AACSB, which is the worldwide recognition for business schools around the world. Our MBA program is currently offered in many global centers such as China, India, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, as well as Myanmar. When they complete the MBA program, they are business ready for employability in practically any sector at all. We were already having online sessions with our MBA candidates even in 2019, before the onset of COVID-19 pandemic. This is very important. Why? Because it allows us to combine groups of students from a transnational grouping, so that international exchange of ideas is something really incredible.
MUST is the leading Malaysian university of choice when it comes to PhD programs. We currently have more than 200 active students in our program. We have an outstanding track record in PhD supervision and guiding our students in publishing their research work in emerging fields such as Industry 4.0, digitalization, supply chain management, AI, and more. MUST's world-class faculty and researchers, along with our international recognitions such as AACSB membership, CMI UK, QS World University Ratings, and eQuiz, make us a highly sought-after school for postgraduate education.
Here at MUST, we have Students Experience and Affairs Department, also known as SEED.
Our Student Experience and Affairs Department takes steps to ensure our personal growth through programs that can help develop our communication and leadership skills, as well as teamwork.
We strive for our students to not only have the best academic experience, but also the best on-campus lifestyle experiences. We have weekly ongoing activities as well as different clubs and societies such as the Lunchtime Club, Bowling Club, Esports Society, and so much more.
As a MUST student, one of the perks we have is learning from Infinity Academy, which is one of the best performing arts training center in Malaysia. You would think that when you're going into technical courses that people are just focusing on IT and transport and communication, things like that. But when we go into performing arts, I saw most of my classmates breaking out of their shell. And it also is a benefit because I gained 10 academic credits.
A MUST student is someone with high integrity, commitment, great attitude, and good values. I'm glad I've chosen this university as my stepping stone. 100% employability is what MUST aims for all students. I'm confident that I'll have a bright future.
So come and join us at MUST.
Hi, good morning everyone. I am Lakshmi Premanand from Sri Lanka. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Malaysia University of Science and Technology for giving me an opportunity to be a part of a prestigious, amazing, and extremely informative event like this. I am honored and really proud that I am a PhD student at a remarkable university like MUST that we all are proud of, which has the most dedicated professors around to guide all of us. I wish to warmly welcome the President of MUSD, Professor Dr. Prem Kumar Rajagopal, the Dean of the Institute of Postgraduate Studies, Dr. Khairir Khalil, the Provost of MUSD and the Dean of the Science and Engineering, Dr. Sellappan, Dean of the School of Business Association, Dr. Harvinder Singh, and the Dean of the School of Transportation and Logistics, Dr. Said Mohammad Reza, to the MUSD Virtual Colloquium Q3 2021. It is with great pleasure that I would like to welcome our distinguished keynote speaker for this morning, Professor Dr. Obiora Madu, the founder of Multimix Academy from Nigeria. Next, I would like to thank all of the academic and industry partners of MUSD, both local and international, the PhD students from Malaysia and around the world, and finally, to all of the most passionate and the wonderful staff of our MUSD for gracing us with your presence on this special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, let us commence with the opening of the MUSD Virtual Colloquium Q3 2021. Let us not forget the students of MUSD who will be presenting their progress updates in today's morning session and the proposal defenses in the afternoon session. Please allow me to invite the Dean of the Institute of Postgraduate Studies of the Malaysia University of Science and Technology, Dr. Khairir Khalil, for his welcome speech. He is one of the most incredible and outstanding person that MUSD has as he is there to support the students and the staff of MUSD at all times. We are waiting for you to begin your welcome speech, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Nashmi, for all the kind words. Welcome to everyone to the Colloquium. Professor Prem Kumar, the President of Malaysia University of Science and Technology. Professor Dr. Obiora Madu, all the partners, all the students, welcome to the IPS MUSD Colloquium, PhD Colloquium. We have a lot of programs lined up today. The first thing is on speech by Dr. Obiora Madu. He takes his time now. It's very early in the morning in Nigeria, but he has agreed to deliver the keynote speech. So we'll all be looking forward to that. And then one unique thing that you will see in this program is that the moderator, as we started just now, is from our own PhD students. This is to develop them, their leadership skill, their communication skills. And that is what we want to do in IPS, to develop our students not just on their academic research, but also on their other skills. Now, the main objective of this Colloquium is to provide exposures to the PhD students in their area of research. So for PhD students, please really keep your ears open and take notes of whatever that you need to in order to enhance your research work. I do not want to take too much time, so that's all I have to say. Once again, welcome and enjoy the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Khairir, for the wonderful welcome speech. Next, let us move on to have a great, energetic, and inspirational start off to the MUSD Virtual Colloquium 2021 Q3 with the opening speech by Professor Dr. Prem Kumar Rajagopal. He is known for his immense dedication to guiding the students of MUSD, regardless of his busy schedule. Also, I believe that what drives Prof. Prem Kumar is his passion toward his work. Let us give it up for Prof. Dr. Prem Kumar for his opening speech. We are waiting for you to begin your speech, Prof.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes, can, Prof.
All right. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, a very good morning to all of you. Welcome back to Malaysia University of Science and Technology Colloquium. Yeah. The third quarter Colloquium for year 2021. Yeah. I know that we have almost about 90 over participants here. Yeah, today. And I also understand the long agenda that has been arranged for y'all, yeah, for the 2-day session. And some beautiful speakers are coming. And one of it is my friend, Dr. Madhu. Hi, Dr. Madhu. Good morning to you.
Hi, Professor Prem. I'm good.
Okay, all right. So I wouldn't want to take so much of your time. It's just that I wanted to let you know or emphasize that the importance of colloquium. Yeah, the colloquium for PhD was started in Malaysia University of Science and Technology in year 2017. Yeah, and the objective of this colloquium is actually to have a common platform for sharing of knowledge. Yeah. We being in the academic world, yeah, and then we have another one more, that is the industry world. So there are two worlds, yeah. One is the academic world, the other one is the industry world, yeah. So we don't want to have a situation whereby the academic world direction is not aligned to the industry world. So that is the reason why we want to bring this colloquium and align the academic world towards the industry world. So meaning to say, whatever the industry is doing today or whatever the challenges that you see in the industry, we should address them in our studies. Okay? Whether they are opportunities, whether they are phenomena, whether they are issues or challenges facing the industry, we as an academician or we as the academic body of knowledge should be able to address. And the platform for this is the colloquium. Yeah. And next, apart from that, another function of the colloquium is also to have a peer learnings. Yeah, peer learnings. Yeah. So you have students who are seniors, we have students who are juniors, and so on. Yeah. So this is where you will be able to interact between the juniors and seniors will be able to interact and try to understand what are the challenges that the seniors has gone through, yeah, over the year 1, year 2, yeah, and coming to nearing to year 3, so that you don't need to repeat those mistakes that your seniors have done, yeah. So you will learn. So peer learning is another important aspect in PhD, yeah. Yeah, many of time people say that, PhD is a silo journey, but please remember, it is not just a silo journey. It's also a journey together with your peers. Yeah. And also the PhD colloquium gives you an opportunity to have an interaction, not only with your immediate supervisor, but also the other faculty members who are available in the campus. Yeah. So it is an opportunity for you when you are presenting your work or when you are sharing your progress update. So you will have other faculty members who are there to support you, who are there to, give you more insight to your subject matter, or maybe not your subject matter expert, but they may be able to give you some insight, some thoughts onto the process that you're embarking on. Maybe your data collection process, maybe your statistical analysis process, maybe your literature critical review of your literature. Yeah. So these are the reasons why we want to have this colloquium. Yeah. And with that note, I urge that all of you participate actively in the colloquium. Yeah. It is your day, these 2 days is your day. It is a day where we would like to see you getting actively involved. Yeah. So don't worry. I always tell my students that if you want to make mistake, university is a place for you to make mistake. Classroom is a place for you to make mistake. Why? Because there are people who can correct you. But never make mistake when you go to the industry. Your bosses will not like it. Your work environment, don't make mistakes. Your bosses will not like it. They will not be able to take it. Yeah. So here in the university, in the classroom, please go ahead, whatever you have in your mind, share your thoughts. Yeah. And then get it aligned, not only corrected, get it aligned to the right pathway. Yeah. Towards your progress in your PhD. All right. With that note, back to Lakshmi.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much, Prof, for giving an absolutely wonderful and motivation presentation. We were able to get a bird's eye view of the MUST Virtual Colloquium 2021 in your informative presentation, Prof. Thank you very much again, Prof. Further, let's move on to one of the most significant sessions today. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Obiora Madu, the founder of Multimix Academy from Nigeria. He is also an advisory board member of International Supply Chain Education Alliance Malaysia. He has won over 20 awards, and one of them is the 2014 National Productivity Order of Merit Award from the President of Nigeria. Professor Dr. Obiora Madu will be enlightening all of us of the impact of COVID-19 on the supply chain of African firms. We are indeed eager to get an insight on your topic, Professor Dr. Obiora. We are waiting for you to begin your speech, Prof.
Thank you very much. I'd like to share my screen.
Yes, go ahead, Doctor.
Are you seeing my screen now?
Can, Prof.
Yes. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, Prof. Yes.
Can.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me. So, Prem, thank you very much. And the faculty of MUST and all the students. It's 2:45 a.m. in Nigeria. So I'll say good morning to you, wherever you are. The PhD journey, like the Prof has said, is a collective journey. You need to share with faculty, you need to share with your colleagues to be able to get far in it. I've been introduced, I'm from Nigeria, and Nigeria is in Africa. I'm sure that some of the students may not have had an idea where Africa is. While I was in the US, someone asked me whether Africa is in Nigeria. And I said, no, it is Nigeria that is in Africa, because Africa is a continent. So today, I want to look at the impact of COVID on African firms. Supply chain is my area of specialization, and my thesis is on Amazon. You can find it there. This is how we're going to go. Introduction, the need for supply chain and the evolution, the flat world and the economy, global impact of COVID-19 on supply chains generally, impact of COVID on supply chain in Africa, African firms, looking at healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, and SMEs. Then a little bit about thesis and the dissertation, and then we round up. This is a brief profile.
You see this slide moving? You see the slide moving? Oh, yeah, it's moving. No, it's not moving. But he was saying.
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, Ken, Doctor.
Okay. It's indeed a pleasure to be on this platform to exchange ideas with you on a subject that is very crucial at this point in time. Coronavirus has devastated the entire world, but today I want to discuss the impact it has had on the African continent as a whole and African firms in particular. The question will be, why Africa? Africa has been a paradox. Africa is about 20% of the world population, but Africa contributes less than 4% to the global trade, in spite of all natural resources. COVID simply complicated already existing challenges, which I will be discussing later in the paper. I will look at the global impact and then I will return to Africa. I know that a lot of the students are not really supply chain students, and I'd like to explain the reason what led to supply chain management. Globalization was one of them. With globalization, you have to deal, for example, I'm sitting down in Nigeria at 2:45 a.m. and speaking to you in Malaysia at 9:45 a.m. That's part of globalization. The playing field has been leveled for everyone across the globe. All the boundaries have been broken. The second thing is increased competition. Today, if there's a bid in Malaysia, unless it is restricted to Malaysians, anyone can bid from anywhere in the world. Increasing dependency. Because of increasing dependency, supply chain had to come to assist to make sure that it happens. Introduction and increase in ICT. Today, a whole lot have happened in ICT. MUST is known to be one of the institutions that is doing very, very well in that very particular area and also in supply chain. Shrinking product life cycle. If a product's life cycle is short, it requires a lot more.
Dr. Odira, I'm sorry, your slide is showing slide number 36.
What's going on?
Your slide is showing slide number 36. Yeah.
Are you seeing my slide 1 now?
Now it is on slide 36. Maybe you want to unshare first and then share again.
Sorry, let me.
Yes. Now it's on the first slide. Maybe
Are
also
you seeing
want
my
to do yes. So maybe also you want to do a slideshow. Slideshow so that it's bigger.
Where is it now? Is it on slide 1?
Yeah, you are on the cover page. That's right. However, if you can do a slideshow rather than just a slide, but otherwise it's okay.
Still inside slide 36?
No, slide number 1 now.
Okay. Okay, so sorry about that. Then, of course, product and service improvement. I was already talking about what led to the supply chain. Are you seeing the screen right now?
Yes, it's on slide 1.
Okay. Okay. Then also the need to reduce cost of production was an issue. Because of competition. I'll give you a practical example here, like factories in Nigeria producing the same goods with factories in China. Because of mass production, those that come from China will come at a cheaper rate, and then it will be difficult for the Nigerian product to compete with it. Then also the risk exposure because of the boundaries that have been broken and because of technology too. So all these led to supply chain, and now companies are competing not against each other, but it is the supply chain of companies that's competing against each other. So supply chain has taken a strategic position in all organizations, not just in manufacturing organizations, but also in service organizations. The slide you are seeing, the supply chain is a process, it's a journey. And all supply chain people will wish that the road is as smooth as it is here. It's a flow of activities and information, constantly evolving. But unfortunately, the road is not as smooth as it looks. Let's see the next slide. If you look behind the slide, you see a traffic jam, and then with all other challenges, from business landscape to innovation, to sustainability, to increasing commodity prices, to infrastructure bottlenecks, all these add to
Excuse me.
the challenges.
No,
We are still on slide 1, Prof.
Slide is not moving, doctor.
Yeah, we are still on slide 1.
Okay, Dr. Kari. Hello, Dr. Khalil.
You are still on slide 1.
What's going on? It's I've moved on.
Yes, but we are still seeing slide 1. Can you give instruction how to do slide show?
Dr. Obiora, you have to click on the slideshow icon down there.
Are you still seeing slide 1?
Yes, we are seeing slide 1. And Dr. Obiora, maybe you can just click slideshow icon down there. Can you see a small icon there? Slideshow.
Yeah, this is I'm on slideshow right now. I know what I.
Oh, okay.
I'm out of slideshow now.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay, now it's on slide.
Slide 7 now.
Is it okay right now?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, doctor.
Let me go back to slideshow. Is it okay? Or is it going back to slide 1?
No, it's on slide 7 now. But we can't see the slideshow mode.
Sorry, Dr. Obiro. I think you share the windows instead of sharing the screen. You share the window. Please unshare. Stop the sharing. And once you want to share, select the screen rather than select the windows.
Are we good to go now, please?
You are on slide 1 now.
Has it moved on? Is it still on slide 1?
Yes,
Yes, it
doctor.
is.
Yes, slide 1.
Dr. Gerard, maybe you want to try once again, as per Dr. Prof. Keshaya's suggestion, to share the screen instead of windows. Now I think you're sharing the windows. Are you sharing the screen?
I should show the screen.
Yeah, still on slide 1. Ms. Norisha will request for control, and if you allow, maybe she can help you navigate the slides. Norisha? Cannot request control.
Can we go now?
The request control has been approved, but she cannot do anything for some reason. What can we do? Prof. Shaya, is there anything else we can do?
I think the best solution is if you have the slide, maybe Nirusha can share the slide, and just only Dr. Obiro explain the slide. I think is much more easier.
We don't have the slide.
If Dr. Obiro, you just email the slides for IPS, then they will open on behalf of you. Then just you present the slides.
Yeah, you can email the slide to Ms. Nirusha if you can.
Oh, okay. For now, I think you are in the screen mode. Okay. Now just go to the slideshow.
Thank you. Slide 2.
Okay, cool. Now you just select the slideshow. Do you have one monitor or you have 2 monitors?
Are you seeing the slide now?
Yeah, we're seeing slide number 2.
Yeah. I think it's better you send the slides for IPS, let them to share on behalf of you.
So sorry,
Doctor, please email the slide to us. We can
I'm
assist
sending
you.
you the slide. I'm sending you the slide. I'm sending it to you
doctor.
now. I'm sending it to Dr. Karil.
Dr. Carey, okay. Okay, Ken.
I sent it already.
Okay, doctor.
so sorry. Let's just keep talking before the slides come on. I was talking about supply chain and the impact of COVID. Africa had a peculiar problem in the sense that issues like infrastructure was not there, lack of governance and other issues. These were problems which we had to encounter with. So what COVID did was just to expose what challenges that already existed. So we will, when the slide comes on, we will review all that, what has happened during the period. Dr. Kali, do you have the slide now?
Yes, we are arranging for sharing now. Yes, a couple of minutes. Hey, we're sharing the slide now. Just tell us to move the.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm so sorry. Let's move on to slides. Continue on the slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. Slide 7. That's okay. This is where I was. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So supply chain has a lot of issues, just as I was saying. Looking at this slide, you see in the background the traffic jam, then plus all the rest of the issues that are involved in supply chain. Please go ahead. Next slide. The flat world contributed to what we're talking about, because quality specifications are global right now. So whether if you are importing or exporting, you must meet the international standards. Next slide, next slide. We are all operating in a VUCA economy now. It's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, and it's ambiguous. So this is what we are going through. For that reason, everyone has to change strategy for survival as a result of COVID. Next slide. In 2020, COVID-19 came and caused so much disruptions to our lives in several ways. It created a complex world which demands a supply chain that can sense and respond intelligently to change. The best supply chain will win. Like I said earlier, companies no longer compete with each other. It is supply chain of one company against the supply chain of the other company. Next slide. The global impact of COVID started from flight delays to flight cancellation to freight capacity constraints to rerouting and a whole lot of things that has to do with the world's cargoes. So this the whole world was shaken by it. And someone said that COVID was wicked, and it's because it went to start in China. China happens to be the biggest export destination. China happens to be the biggest manufacturing destination, the biggest supplier of raw materials. So as a result of that, raw materials ceased to go to several companies, and it has to cause disruptions. People have to lose jobs, and a lot of capacity constraints happened on companies. Next slide, please. For example, the experience that companies was getting from COVID, employment and well-being, companies were considering it at 61%, sales revenue 58%, uncertainty about the future and customer demand 56%, cash flow and liquidity 56%, supply chain issues, which is where we're concerned, also 56%. Disruption to execution and business strategy, 52%. Staff sickness and health, which was a very big issue, 49%. Meeting demand through digital channels, 33%. Ability to cope with flexible working, 42%. And then technology issues with home working, also at 42%. All these came on organizations, came on companies who had a new normal where people had to work from just anywhere up till now. Next slide. The disruption brought issues like this. Sorry, we are closed. Some of them were closed because they couldn't get supply. Some were closed because they were out of business. Next slide. Empty seats in schools. Up to university level, a lot of people had to go back to working, studying from home. Next slide. The new normal. Studying from anywhere and not being able to go to school as a result of lockdowns and other things. Next slide. The effects from COVID-19, how did it impact on organizations? Some organizations said it had no clear impact on them at about 26%, while about 69% reported revenue decrease, and about 9% reported revenue increase. Because COVID did not affect all industries the same way. The hospitality industry was one of the first victims. The airline industry, a lot of pilots lost their jobs. And but the industries that gained, like the technology industry, the education industry, gained quite a lot from COVID. Companies that were able to pivot easily to technology, for example, those of us in education, we maintain the same level of operation as it were before the COVID. Next slide. Next slide, please. The positive impacts. We're looking at the terminations of employment and the full-time employment in the course of this period. 26% of companies said they didn't terminate at all. About 36% said they terminated 1 to 20%, and 12%, 21 to 40%. 13% of companies terminated 41 to 60%, and 77% of the companies terminated 61 to 80. 3%, 81 to 99. Only 4% of the companies terminated everybody. Of course, what it meant is that the company had to close. Next slide. Impact of COVID in Africa had a different effect. If you look at this, you see that there are countries that were frequently without medical care, or citizens that also are frequently without clean water, and the countries are listed here. Next slide. Impact of COVID on transportation was huge. What shows that supply chain was very, very important during COVID was because every other thing, even during lockdown, supply chain has to happen so that vaccines can get to destination, so that food items can also get to destination. Next slide. Airline workers lost their job, and then most of the airlines had to reduce constraints. Shipping was also a problem, and then the entire transportation system was brought to its knees also. Next slide. Next slide. Now, the severity. The severity of the impact of COVID as it concerns industries, different sections, manufacturing, export and import, retail trade, and logistics and transport. Manufacturers have found it difficult to distribute their products. The first thing that happened to manufacturers was raw material. In procurement, a lot of companies were practicing single sourcing because they found some cheap raw materials somewhere. But when COVID came, it brought everybody back to their senses. They need to collaborate and they need to practice multiple sourcing from different sources. For export and import, border restrictions was a big issue. Border restrictions were a big issue. I'll give you an example. In Nigeria, shut down the borders, and a lot of goods, a lot of trailers, and a lot of other countries were very angry as a result of that, and that affected bilateral trade within the region. Retail trade, due to internal and external border restrictions, retailers have found it challenging to sell their products because they are not getting supply. Even though you contract online, but it has to be delivered. Food services. Distribution cost has become a critical item because as much as vehicles were moving, the cost of moving at that point in time was very, very expensive. Then logistics and transport. Distribution companies have increased their delivery charges to cover for drop in the volume of activities. So these are how the different industries were affected. Next slide. Now, look at these different items that we needed. Groceries is the only one in the positive. It took center stage, and even in supermarkets were empty in many countries globally. It was worse in Africa. The need for quick service and restaurants, nobody needed it during this period. Footwear, apparel, jewelry, accessories, and furnishings, all that were not important. What was most important is how to get groceries and keep the families going. Next slide. The only thing that happened in that period was that planes were distributing cargoes, particularly vaccines for COVID treatment. Next slide. I want to concentrate on Africa right now. Give me next slide. I will look at it from the point of the manufacturing, agriculture, and then other areas. For manufacturing, lockdown. The lockdown affected manufacturing very seriously. Staff couldn't go to work. Every company had to reduce its capacity at that point in time because people couldn't come to work. Scarcity of raw materials I've talked about. The raw materials were not coming because where most of them were coming for companies were at the center stage of COVID. They couldn't produce. The little they had to distribute it was a problem. So distribution was equally a constraint. There was a total supply chain disruption and capacity constraint. Manufacturing companies were badly hit. Now, in Africa, we have problem with infrastructure. When COVID came, it exposed what we have suffered for a very, very long time. Distribution, in fact, there was an example that someone gave. It is less expensive to bring a container from China to Nigeria, to the Lagos port, than to take that container from one part of Lagos to the other. That's the kind of cost that we started to see, and it has not abated. Next slide. The pharmaceutical industry were seriously affected like every other one. We had increase in cost of procurement. You have decrease in patient satisfaction, where they had loss of revenue. The last mile delivery is a very important area in the pharmaceuticals, so that the drugs will get to the users in the hospitals. It suffered greatly during this period. It was suffering before COVID, but then it became too apparent at the time of the COVID as a result of inability to distribute drugs to their respective areas. You will also notice most African countries are either taking AstraZeneca or Johnson & Johnson because of the degree of temperature that is needed for the other vaccine. Next slide. Agriculture. To move agricultural produce from the localities where they are produced to the cities where they are needed was a very, very big issue. Farmers had to stay at home, and then a lot of produce had to perish in the course of the period. Next slide. Next slide. I was talking about infrastructure, which is a very, no, go back, please, go back. Go back. I was talking about infrastructure in Africa, which was exposed by COVID. This is the kind of situation that you'll find in some areas. So imagine the container that you see on the screen now. When will it ever get to its destination? This is one of the situation that is affecting supply chains. During COVID, when there's a breakdown, because a lot of people were not at work, it was not possible to remove any of those vehicles. And as a result of that, the whole place is jammed for a very, very long time. Next slide. This is an example of containerization in Newark, in New Jersey, United States. Next one. Containerization in Conakry, Guinea. Now, if you compare the two, then you see that productivity in Conakry, as far as containerization is concerned, is very, very low. Because, of course, you can see it, there are no equipment. Before this very container goes on these boats, it takes a while. And as a result of that, throughput is going to suffer greatly in production in that very particular area. Next slide. Now, the Logistics Performance Index is one instrument that is used to measure countries, how they are performing logistics-wise. Now, these are the top 10 countries in Africa as per the last logistics report. South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, Rwanda, Egypt, Kenya, Eritrea, Sierra Leone, Niger, Burundi, and Angola. Now, what this means, this shows example. There are 6 pillars that are considered in the logistics performance index. They are checking of the ease of importation. They're checking about quality of service. They're checking about access to the port. They are also checking infrastructure within the port and beyond. So already before COVID, a lot of African countries performed very, very poorly on the logistics performance index. Then came COVID, and it became worse than it was before. Next slide. So what do we do right now? What should organizations in Africa do right now that the COVID is abating? Next slide. Fixing the broken supply chain is the challenge. In the area of production, there are poor extension services. Supply of inputs is an issue. There's low productivity. Productivity within an acreage is very low. Outdated farming practices. Then, of course, the supply chain, there's high wastage. The fruits and vegetables that perish with farmers, it's about 35% of the entire production that happened in a period. High wastage, lack of storage, poor transportation, and too many intermediaries. Then the processing, we have to look at not assured supply of inputs, which is exactly the reason why one of the bane of Africa is the exportation of raw produce without any value added. In marketing, poor infrastructure, lack of grading, and no market leakages. Next slide. Next slide. I want to talk a little bit about the issues of the research. One of the challenges, please, next slide, please. I just want to look at some of the vulnerabilities in the course of doing that. A student at this level is supposed to contribute to the body of knowledge. You have to make a contribution. Otherwise, you won't be let go. So you will rely on your mentor or your supervisor. You rely also on your colleagues to be able to achieve results that you have came for. But the vulnerabilities include unclear expectations. Some students do not have a clear expectations about what they want to do. That very challenge starts right from the choice of topics and then into the research itself. Learning involves not knowing. That's why we learn. There's a lot to know. So you need to really do a lot of work to be able to get information that you need to produce your dissertation. Fine is not the same as good. Expectations are very high. Must is known for high quality dissertations and high quality producing first class students. So as a result, you just have to be your best. All or nothing stakes You have to put in everything that you have to be able to produce a result. Now, you are required to be able to identify challenges and then provide solution that can assist the community, that can assist organizations, that can assist nations too. One of the challenges students complain is non-responsive supervisors, but I think the universities take care of that by ensuring that such a student is changed over to another supervisor. Conflicting agenda is an issue, but once you have devoted your time to do your program, then you must be able to find the time to face it and then complete it and produce what is expected of you. Data integrity is one area that you have to be very, very careful. There have been students who copied a dissertation that has been produced elsewhere, and of course, they lost it all. Complicated processes and checkpoints do happen, but the fact is that you have to be able to navigate through all of them. And one way to do that is by ensuring that you produce work that is incontrovertible. Next slide. Vulnerability is inherent in the process of research. There's no doubt about it. Supervisors can help students build security by providing safe spaces for them to test their ability. Trust is built by creating certainty from uncertainty, piecemeal over time. Where trust is not present, a student is more likely to isolate themselves, and the result is that they will produce a very, very poor work. Next slide. Some of the materials used for this was from Leadership Foundation, University of Glasgow, and then Professor Jerry Wellington. Next slide. Now, in conclusion, first of all, let me apologize for the technical issues. It does happen at times. I've used Teams several times, but we had these challenges today. So, take home. Africa is a continent in the world. Africa is a rich continent with poor citizens. And the reason is part of what I have mentioned: inability to trade, inability to poor infrastructure to move around. Even in the area of aviation, a lot has happened. Companies like Ethiopian Airlines is from Africa, is doing very well, but they are very, very few. Part of the challenges is also corruption. So that money that is meant for infrastructure found their way to somewhere else. So all these and many others are what is affecting the African continent. Again, let me apologize for the technical hitch, and which had affected the entire presentation. At this point, I will want to pause. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Obiora Madu, for your amazing and informative presentation. It was indeed a great pleasure to listen to you, Prof. Now we will be having a question and answer session. Does anyone have any questions for Prof? Does anyone have any questions for Prof?
Lakshmi, there's one question in the chat box.
Hey, there is a question in the chat box from Dr. Lal Doluveer. I am a Lal Doluveer. Good morning, Dr. Obera. Depletion of natural resources due to supply chain is a persistent critical issue in the global world, especially diamond industries in Africa, etc. How would you address this issue?
Thank you very much. That is why the issue of sustainability is crucial in supply chain now. So many countries have started enforcing it. So it's affecting Africa. I did complain earlier that the challenge is that they are being exported without even adding any value. As a result of that, supply chain is affecting the global design from the point of view you have made, and several others, like wood, different types of wood from the forest, and several things others. But the fact is that sustainability is taking place right now. For example, in Africa, in Nigeria, if you want, they have actually banned the export of raw wood right now. They have banned the export of raw wood. In some countries, you have to plant certain number of plants before you can trees before you can export. So it actually means that everyone must pay attention to supply chain sustainability at this point in time.
Thank you so much, Prof, for answering the questions of our MUST students. If anyone there?
What about Salawu? Salawu Yekini?
Hello. Good morning.
Hi,
From here, my name is Yekini Salau. Mine is rather contributions and comments. The presentation is quite apt, despite the technical hitches. And I would like to suggest to Prof that recently presented. I think Africa Center for Supply Chain is at the center of researching. Most of this research that are being done, are you creating any avenue of making it available for everyone to have access to it, to have access to data all over the world? One, and a contribution in the essence is that Africa continent, the intra-trade is so deficient because virtually each country and every country in the continent is exporting the same thing. It is now affecting the intra-trade because no value are being added. Mainly, they export the commodity and import the finished one. I think these are the areas that Africans need to look inward, at least to be adding value and creating employment for the citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yekini. Let's start from the research by African Center for Supply Chain. Data is very, very important. And while while we are still talking about data, they are talking about big data elsewhere in the world. So it's very, very important, which was the reason why African Center for Supply Chain started publishing the Nigerian Logistics and Supply Chain Industry Report. The supply chain manager can do nothing unless he has information, unless he has data. So we've been able to breach that, and then there's an intention to, yes, of course, it is on the website and it is it's available. Anybody who wants to invest in Nigeria in logistics in other areas can actually rely on that very particular report. On the trading, within African countries, which is estimated to be about 12%, as against the 56 and 60% for in Asia and Europe. It's a big issue. That is exactly the reason why the African Continental Free Trade Agreement was signed by African countries, which started operations January 2021. The whole idea is Africa is a big market, about 1.3 billion and about 3 trillion GDP. So it is hoped that the creation of the African Continental Free Trade Area will make countries add value to their commodities and then share with each other. And then also to increase, they're expecting that in 5 years, that at least they will be able to achieve over 30% as far as intra-African trade is concerned. So supply chain and logistics is key. Ability to move within the continent is very, very difficult. So it's going to affect it, but a lot is already being done that will take care of that. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Prof. We have another question from Giva. How can transport expert manage the sustainability of supply chain in this era during this pandemic?
How can transport experts manage the sustainability of supply chain in the era of the pandemic? Well, this is an issue. I shared something on social media recently, a truck that was heading to a destination, and on negotiating a bend, the head of the body of the truck fell off and the head continued to move. This is a big challenge because maintenance of trucks in transportation has been a very, very big issue now. The buying of parts, and so companies are beginning to manage even when they shouldn't. So the managers will have to apply a lot of ensure that the transportation equipment are maintained, ensure that the journey management of the routes happen. In the aviation side now, a lot is happening. People are beginning to return to traveling. So the aviation is beginning to pick up a little bit. But in Africa, a lot happened on land. Land transportation is the mainstay. So it's going on. It's going on. The sustainability by replacement of trucks and also by ensuring that vehicles are roadworthy when they move. Thank you.
Lakshmi, you're muted.
Thank you so much for answering our questions, Prof. Next, let me invite Professor Dr. Prem Kumar for a closing speech. Over to you, Prof. Prem.
Let's wait for Prof. Premier.
Okay, Ms. Nirusha.
Hi. All right. Once again, thank you, my dear friend, Dr. Madhu, for taking us through the session today. It was interesting to understand the challenges the business world is facing today, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, where you see the disruption has already happened in supply chain. Well, not all our students are into supply chain PhD, but it is an eye-opener to look into the challenges of the business world and the landscape that has changed. Yeah, business has to go on. Yeah, despite whatever challenges, we have to go on. It's just that our strategies will have to be reimagined. Yeah, so that's what Dr. Madhu was sharing with us. The strategies, the action plan, that has to be imagined. Yeah, you need to think totally new. Yeah. Okay, so once again, thank you very much, Dr. Madhu, for your very insightful thoughts on the supply chain and the business outlook today. I think most of your sharing, not only even though your examples were all very highly related to Nigeria, but I believe that those examples can also be applied in the other regions, yeah, because this COVID-19 has hit almost every country, every dot in the world map, yeah. So thank you, Dr. Madhu, and let's keep in touch. I'll hand it over back to the MC today, Lakshmi. Back to you, Lakshmi.
Thank you so much, Prof. Prem, for your closing speech. Also, Professor Dr. Prem has requested all of the participants in the MUSD Virtual Colloquium 2021 Q3 for a group photo. So I wish to kindly request every one of you all to turn on your camera for a group photo. Can you all please switch on all of your cameras?
I'm not messed up today, so how?
Guys, please, turn on your camera.
Let's have a look handsome,
yeah?
Oh, he always
and
look
we'll
handsome,
share
not
it with
us.
you. This will be on our website, yeah?
Robin,
so,
you always
Risha,
look
you're
handsome,
going to take the snap?
Brother, you always look handsome, don't worry.
No, Prof always he looks very handsome, then he expects us to take pictures with him. How this can be happen? He'll wear
Bye,
everything
Francis.
beautifully for the day we are
Yeah, that's right, bro.
Well, the rest of you are still shying off, wouldn't want to show your beautiful and handsome faces. Please share. Please on your video so that we can have a group photo, yeah?
Yeah.
They're all in about 90 of you. Yeah, Bhavani, yeah.
Tell them you deserve one credit. Now the camera will be open.
Robin, yes.
Tell them you got one credit if you open your camera.
We have 101 participants. Miss
I hope the
Bhavani?
picture will be shared to every one of us.
But I can see the video of only like nearly 10 of us. Okay. Okay, good to go?
Yep.
I hope the pictures will be shared to every one of us.
Sure.
One,
we'll have you.
2, 3. Awesome.
Thank you, Miss Bhavani. Thank you, everyone.
Good going so far. Keep it going.
Thank you. We have now come to the end of the external session and we'll move on to the internal session now. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of our MUSD Virtual Colloquium 2021 Q3. Hope you all enjoyed our Virtual Colloquium 2021 Q3. We are all awaiting to see you again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Malaysian time. Thank you.
MEFC staffs, lecture